Okay, and we're on. So, yeah, probably that is the notification thing. And then again, they probably figured, oh, okay, she's just being Kara again.
Be not alarmed. Yet.
Yet. No, that's usually whenever Jen's on, the whole fetish talk and
Oh, that's
everything
right.
comes on.
Ah, bless Jen.
She's fun. I like her.
Yeah. Hey, if nothing else, at least I am no longer seen as the one with the weird fetish-oriented knowledge.
I don't know. You still put stuff out there that I've never heard of. I'm always running to Google. Like
Yes.
um like I can swear it was made up, but apparently yesterday I heard about something called the reverse cat dog. I'm like, what in the world is that?
Well, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's made up or if it's an actual thing. I tried Googling, all I pulled up was the cartoon.
Well, yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind, so I'm. Could ruin some childhoods. I don't know about that.
Because if they're not connected at the butt, they'd be connected at the face.
That's just terrifying. That's some society shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a crazy scene. I love the ending on that one.
It's very interesting, especially if you go into it like I did, not knowing really what it was about.
Yeah, I blind watch everything. I watched that one back in college. And I mean, I'm not one of those people that I'm horrified. Like, I purposely look for like the weird stuff anyway.
Right.
Oh, we have Slipknot in the chat. Hello,
Bonjour.
how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I went into it blind and I was just looking at it like, wow, this is just madness.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's that 80s. Everybody was doing something on drugs, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't think the whole cocaine thing was still in. I think that was a 70s thing. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure it kind of transferred a little bit into the 80s at least, but who knows? I'm sure there were a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was a popular one in the 80s. I can't remember right now.
Uh, hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Slipknot says, I'll have to dip when you begin talking about It Follows. I'll return later. Of course, have not seen It Follows for
Okay.
free chat. Yeah, I know usually the movie discussion can last up to 40 minutes to an hour, so there's an estimate for you. But right now we're just bantering while we wait for more people to come in. So you're good. But yeah, anything interesting over the weekend or?
Not, I guess, terribly interesting, perhaps, by comparison of others' perspectives. But just working on my channel, I checked through the analytics, which I'm not good at, but I'm apparently pretty damn close to reaching the watch time for monetization.
Oh wow.
So, we're working for that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
only been
always.
9 years.
Oh geez. Yeah, I hate that, especially because of what's his face, Paul posting unalived bodies. Everybody got
Yeah.
punished for it.
Thank you very much to the Paul brothers. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and then thanks for running off and starting a boxing and wrestling career.
What? That's a little bit of a mental whiplash. Thank you.
Yeah, apparently he's actually pretty good though, which I wouldn't have figured, but okay, I
No.
guess he's driven about
Well,
something. Uh,
driven for that ego.
yeah, I saw online he posted a picture of a baby tiger and he says, "We are not the same." And I'm like, yeah, I don't take animals out of the wild.
I've seen Tiger King. I know how this goes.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he even holds on to the cub that long.
Hmm.
And of course, Slipknot asks, have either of us seen Maniac Cop movies? I
Hmm.
saw the first one, which I loved. I only half watched the second one because I really wasn't paying attention.
Now, if I'm thinking correctly, that's at least the first one. That's with isn't that with Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, and they had that really big tall guy also. So we had
Yeah.
double chin action.
Yeah, I forget his name. I know that's yeah, the very distinctive jawline, as it were. And Tom
Yeah.
Atkins, I think. So yeah, I've seen the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that one. I know in the second one he was having an affair and his wife leaves him, but I don't
You know, just
remember too
80s things.
much. Yeah, there was like a voodoo motif, so they
Hmm.
changed it up a little bit, but other than that, I really don't remember the story. Um,
Yeah.
I
Huh.
thought the second Maniac Cop was the best. I only half watched it. I think I was like making dinner or doing something at the time, so I was just popping in and out.
I know that's one I need to watch. There's like what, three, four,
Is there? I didn't know.
at least three, I think.
Yeah, but eventually Campbell dips out of that one.
Yeah, I think it's in the second one actually that well, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, he is not part of most of the second one.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was there for the beginning. I think he shows up at the end again, but
Yeah,
other
he.
than that, yeah.
Oh God, if I'm remembering correctly, because I have only seen it once.
Ah, Robert Zadar is the guy's
Oh,
name.
thank you. Yes, I knew it was an interesting last name. Correct. Yeah. And that's I guess his chin.
Yeah.
That's a condition, I guess. I forget the name of it, but
Yeah, I believe it is, but yeah, I don't know what it is called.
if nothing else, it got him some interesting movie parts.
Yeah, I mean, his look definitely, he can play a pretty mean looking villain, but I'm not too familiar with his career either, so.
Yeah. Maniac Cop, I think is what he's known most for. And maybe there's another one I think that I had heard he was in. It's not a very well known movie. I have not seen it yet, but I've mentioned it on one of my WTF horror movies
Mm.
lists. But it's supposed to be almost Final Destination like, in
Huh.
that there's this group of teens who like cheat death, and now two agents of death, I guess, are after them, and one of them is Robert.
No, the plot reminded me of Psychomania, where the kids kill themselves on purpose so that they can come back and live eternally.
Well, that's a very interesting way of going about it, but okay.
Yeah. Well, they had some sort of a ritual they did with the toad.
Why the toad? Ah, the secret was the toad, not the goats. I knew it.
Yeah. Well, you know how kind of like how the whole resurrection, they seem to resurrect because toads, some bury themselves and they come back when it rains.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
Yeah. Let me see. He's also in Tango and Cash. I imagine that's Robert Zadar.
Okay.
I don't remember if I've seen that one.
I have not.
Is that the one with Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone?
I mean, it sounds familiar. It's probably something my dad has seen.
Hmm. But yeah, I guess we're okay to go ahead and start the discussion. We've been coming up on 9.5 minutes.
Okay. Run, Slipknot, run!
But thanks for hanging out. We'll see you later. Yeah, estimate is probably about like 45 minutes an hour. That's usually about average. But yeah, what were your initial thoughts on Oh, let me see. I recently saw a review for a 4K HD,
Ooh.
Ultra HD box set of the House movies created by Sean S. Cunningham. Those
Well,
got really weird after a while.
yes, swiftly. So swiftly. I've seen up to the Lance Henrik one, and
Yeah.
nothing after that. So, after that one, we're like, all right, let's take a break.
I
Take
think
a
I watched
moment.
the fourth one also, the one with the singing pizza.
Right, yeah, Kane Hodder as a singing pizza. What? What happened? What drugs? Just tell me.
I don't know. That's mostly what I remember about it is just the singing pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, that and, well, I've seen the trailer, I think, for it, if I'm remembering the right one. It's the, I think Roger Cobb, the name of the main character, of course, from the first one, is something happens to him and his family goes either back to the original house or a different one, and it's singing pizza. Yeah,
Yeah. I want to say that was a different family. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
I had no idea. I'm sure it was a blur for those who made it.
I believe that one. But yeah, I mean, did you have any like initial thoughts upon your first watch of It Follows or blind watched it?
Yeah, I blind watched it. Interestingly enough, there was a period of time, some number of years ago. I think I initially watched this not too long after it first came out, but and this was actually in like the infancy of my channel. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
My family and I, would go to my local library, and of course they have a media section,
Yeah.
and we would just go through. And of course, I was in that state, still kind of am, where I would just pick every horror movie that I could come across
Yeah.
and just take it home. So my brother is actually the one who wanted to watch It Follows. So
Oh, okay.
my whole family watched it, and maybe it was just because I didn't have a whole wealth of knowledge about horror movies, but
Hmm.
initially I was like, okay, well, that was weird. I don't know if I liked that.
Yeah. The thing I find strange, like it's definitely a slow burn, but it's a dark
Mm,
movie. They use a lot of natural light. I really don't see like any studio lighting, anything like that. But
yeah.
um, even the characters, they seem kind of I don't want to say mellow, but unenthused. Like they just talk. It's like I don't know if that was just the feel of the film, or do you want to be in this movie?
Is it just a paycheck? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I noticed that as well. So once again, maybe I'm just used to 80s films with, quote unquote teenagers and the hyper energy that usually comes with that. But yeah, it seemed very subdued, perhaps,
Yeah.
with how they reacted to things.
But it was very serious. Like it's kind of like all the silence adds to the tension. Like you have these
Mm.
awkward silences at times, and then like the creature will come up or the it whatever it is the STD monster.
Yes. S2D, sexually transmitted demon.
There you go.
Yeah, that the music is something that I always hear about when it comes
Yeah.
to the movie, and I agree. It's a beautifully put together soundtrack, and it really contributes to the tension and the dread. Essentially, I would see the mood of this film, well, as moody, but
Yeah.
also dreadful.
Hmm.
And I mean that as in not it's dreadful, just dread filled, I suppose.
Yeah, it's very heavy, like, and there are no breaks for like comedy or anything to rest or relax. They keep it very serious through the whole thing, which
Yeah.
I don't know if that kind of, to me, it kind of feels like there was a lull, even though there's constant stuff going on. Like it feels like it drags, even though it really doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, well, like you said, it's a slow burn in a way, and yet it does, once the inciting incident, as they say, happens, there's still a lot going on. But I
Hmm.
think well, here's my theory. I guess they give us as the audience plenty of moments where not much is happening, or it seems very quiet, even when characters are having a conversation, in order
Yeah.
to allow us to look in the background and be like, is that person the entity, or is it that one? That one's moving slow.
Yeah. I mean, God forbid there's somebody with a sprained ankle who's still moving slowly, but I guess the hop would give it away.
Maybe, the limp.
Limp background character number two.
Yes. I played the person in the cast in the background. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I like the characters, but they felt very cardboard to me. Like they weren't that developed. They're just there going through the motions. I don't know if you felt that way or if that was just a me thing.
No, I can see that. Of course, we have our protagonist, and she's the one that we spend the most time with, even though she does have her group of friends around.
Hmm.
But her friends, yeah, they did seem pretty shallow in the sense that they didn't have very much character depth. Maybe I missed some things, but I didn't get much from them as far as, well, what's driving them. Yeah, they're good friends, sure, but why do they want to help her? Why are they going to school for something specific? Like,
Yeah.
give
Yeah,
me something.
we don't get any of that background or anything just to kind of like pad it a little bit more. Like I think the closest we have to a backstory is that one kind of like that geeky guy or that doofus who hangs out with the two sisters, and he's like, well, we used to be friends when we were kids, and I kissed you and I kissed your sister.
Yeah,
But other than that, we really don't know too much about him other than he likes the lead character, Jade.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit of a problem for me because I'm not necessarily someone who focuses entirely too much on the technical aspect of films. It could be kind of not great the way it was filmed,
Yeah.
but if you've got some interesting characters and or an interesting story, then I'm willing to go along with it. But if you have the reverse of that, I'm like, okay, so do I get anybody to care about here?
Not really, other than just the creature stalking Jade, and that's probably the most attention she's ever gotten, even though people say that she's pretty and people, go for her.
See, this is what it's like to have an actual stalker, people.
It's kind of like, go away, please.
It's a restraining order. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that the actress that played Jade, her name's Mika, but the only other film I've seen her in was The Guest, which I thought was awesome.
Yes, that's right. She is the same one. Okay, I thought she looked familiar. Another film, interestingly enough, that my brother chose for us to watch. I don't think he was aware of the fact that that is, at least to some people, considered a horror film to a degree.
I would still consider it because it does have some horror elements.
Yeah, and I guess if it has some part of the story where it takes place on Halloween, we are automatically accepting.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, I'd say usually. Unless it's kind of like one of those sorority girls and you get to see them all skimpy and slutty.
Right. It's one of the requirements in some categories. I'm not gonna say I'm terribly upset, but
No, I like to see the costumes. I'm not going to lie about that. Some of them have some pretty interesting choices, even though it's kind of like, okay, well, I've seen Trampy Red Riding Hood.
yeah. a favorite.
Yeah.
Uh, Alice in Wonderland. God, but everything. Pretty. I've seen like a what do they call it? Like sexy. I've seen a sexy Chucky costume, and I'm like,
Oh
what?
yeah. Yeah, and it comes with the red wig.
Yeah, honey, no, you got to get a better weave at least for that. Come on now.
Yeah, I like the
Tiffany was
costume
right
for
there.
the I like the costume for the dog. The when he walks, it looks like a running Chucky,
Oh
and he's
yeah,
got the little blade and everything. That
those are
one's pretty
fun.
funny.
Those are fun. Those are quite amusing, especially if shall we say fits the dog right, and you get the right like angle when you're taking a photo. It looks kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, and we have Hellbound.
Bonjour.
Yeah, Hell yeah, Dice Rosen and Horror Retrospective together. Freaking awesome.
Yeah. Conversing about sexually transmitted demons. So hey,
Yeah, or as I just call it, the STD monster.
has a nice ring to it. I like it.
What is it, like Barbarian? That one's the titty monster. Apparently, everything's like a
God.
something monster.
Yeah, I guess we're very simple people. Uh, yeah, the oh, what should they call it? Some people have different terms for that particular, I guess, creature. Technically, it's a human. It's
hmm
just a malformed human,
Yeah,
but very strong. I'll give her
yeah,
that. Very strong.
that's why I lean towards the supernatural. I mean, I could totally be wrong. That might just be open for interpretation.
No, the supernatural stuff I enjoy quite a lot. Paranormal is kind of one of my go-to subgenres for. I guess I would call it like an easy watch. Most of the
Yeah.
time, like the Conjuring universe movies, I see as junk food.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Or the Insidious. I think they're kind of like maybe cousins.
Could be, yeah. I mean, every universe now we're learning is connected in some way.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. It's pretty cool, but yeah, unfortunately, what was it? The Conjuring, the Devil made me do it. Too penny. Not too many people seem to like that one.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I watched it not too long after it came out. I think it's all a blur. But it was fine to me. But I can understand why some people would be like, "Yeah, okay, I think we're done with the Conjuring universe."
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with that one, I mean, you do get character development.
Mm.
It does actually move along and doesn't drag the way It Follows does, which
Yeah,
I mean, to me, it feels draggy. Which, it's kind of like it seems like some people really don't care for it too much because of that. Um,
yeah. If you like fast paced action, then it'll throw you off.
yeah, yeah. I remember the first time I watched it, it was pretty late or super early in the morning, probably about 3 or 4. I couldn't sleep, so I popped that one in. And my initial thought was, this movie is boring, but it's not making me sleepy.
Yeah, it's like I said. I think it relies almost entirely on the audience scaring themselves to a
hmm
degree. It has jump scares, yes. And I will say that they are typically pretty effective jump scares. But
Yeah,
it's up to you. They get a lot of wide angle shots
yeah,
so that it kind of leaves you as a spectator looking closely for something that might be coming up.
yeah. And they also have a lot of slow panned shots, also,
Mm.
especially in the beginning, where right when we move up to the shot of the house, and then the one girl, she runs out, goes back in to get her keys, and then winds up with a really weird looking broken leg at the end of that scene.
Yes. That's horrendous. See, this is why we don't play sports. This is what can happen. That was fun because, of course, when you're watching that scene, you don't know what's going on,
Hmm.
what the deal is, because you are seeing it like everybody else.
Yeah.
So you don't see what she sees, of course. And when they do that, I guess the correct term, if I'm remembering correctly, is smash cut
Hmm.
to pretty much that morning when we see what happened to her. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good grab for an opening scene because it sets up what to expect, and then you can see what this thing's actually capable of, which
Yeah,
is not artsy murders, but definitely unique.
yeah, just brutal, essentially, like a ragdoll kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I liked that first kill, but as far as jump scares, I like that one where Jade's in the house and she's in her bedroom the first time she's scared. She kind of holes up in there, and then someone knocks at the door. It's a different friend, and then this really tall um, person walks in, and I'm like, I think that was probably the most effective jump scare. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't jump, but I was definitely surprised.
that was the one that sticks out the most to me as well, because yeah, there's different kinds of jump scares. There's the kind of, as I like to say, the haunted house attraction kind of jump scare. It gets you for a moment. You're like, ah, okay. Then there's the other one that you're dreading, and then it'll get you maybe with a fake out beforehand. That one was more. I don't know how exactly I would describe it, but it was the cold dread of like all the warmth leaving for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only aggressive jump scare, I could be wrong, is towards the end where they're at the beach house and something kicks in the bottom of the door. It's like you
Mm,
can't see it, but I mean, I would have figured just like the regular pounding on the door and it just blows the door basically.
yeah, could be. It's a little shack thing anyway, so I'm sure it wasn't hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course we get that tall character walking past a window, and then it crawls in as some weird looking young boy. So I
Mm.
like how it's always shifting. You never see it the same. But I think that's what adds to the discomfort of watching it.
Yeah, because you can't. It's unpredictable, essentially, and it's not always. I know they mentioned that sometimes it can look like someone you know or knew,
Yeah,
living or not, and other times it just looks like something vaguely human. So that adds to the uneasiness.
yeah, yeah. In that same beach scene, when it's initially walking up, it takes the form of the sister, which I wasn't really too surprised by that. It's kind of like I would have liked to have seen something different,
Yeah,
or maybe if it showed up looking like her, kind of like the whole doppelganger thing.
yeah, that would have been rather intriguing. I don't think we've ever. Now, of course, we only have the one movie, and we don't see the entity from everyone's perspective. But
Mm.
it would have been interesting to see it take the form of the person that it's after.
Yeah,
I don't know how far they would be able to go with that. Like, if everybody else could see, then it could be the whole, like, well, which one's the real one thing.
yeah.
But they're kind of limited, I guess, on what they could do further with that.
I mean, that kind of borders on the Terminator 2, the liquid Terminator that would shapeshift.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I think it was a unique film. I do like that. I give it that, and the idea is intriguing. Why they move so slow, I'm not too sure. Not that I'm like really complaining. I want to like it, but then just the fact that you have these awkward silences, um, which I know are meant to add to the tension, but it's kind of like a little bit more action.
Yeah. A little something more, please. Yeah, that's another thing that I had kind of picked up on when I first watched it, but also other people pointed it out, is that we don't know when exactly, like time wise, this takes place. It has kind of a retro feel to it,
Hmm.
but it's never distinctly told to us. It could be a modern film, or it could be something that takes place in like the late 70s or 80s. But I think what throws a lot of people off that way is the vice that one of the characters has. It looks like a clamshell essentially, but it's like a reading device.
Oh yeah. I kind of thought it was like one of those little miniature personal computers that they used to make in the 2010s.
Okay. Huh.
Either that or it's like some Ninja Turtle thing.
Yes. Something from a superhero movie.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that edition. It's kind of how you say it. It has like this retro feel, but it mixes in some of the modern, even some of Jade's clothing choices, like in that one scene where she's wearing that red blouse, and it's kind of like, okay, well that maybe could pass for 80s. It's kind of funky looking.
Yeah. I guess that could also contribute to the as the audience, the uncertainty, I guess, of like, I don't know where we are or when we are.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that was on purpose. Same thing, kind of like maybe it leave you a little bit disorientated.
Yeah, almost dreamlike, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I did like that sex monster. Um, that's just his name now, other than
Yes,
because I don't want to say it. We already have an it from a different movie.
this is true. We don't want to cross contaminate. One's a clown, one is not. Usually.
Well, one's a clown, the other one doesn't clown around.
Oh, one lives in the sewer. This I don't know where this one lives. I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has because they don't touch on it, like some sort of a like a psychic connection, the way that it can just take the forms of people that she knows, even though it hasn't seen or met any of them. Like it has some sort of access to her.
Yeah.
Um, it also just knows when and where to show up. It's not like it just wanders around aimlessly.
No, no. I mean, it kind of, I guess, wanders per se, but with a purpose.
Mhm.
Like it's almost if it could walk in a straight line to get to someone, it would.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it phases through walls. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was even thinking like maybe something similar to Jason Voorhees. Like he walks, he takes his time, and he's always going after teenagers having sex.
True. It's another commercial for safe sex.
Oh, Lordy. Now it's propaganda film.
Oh, that's it. We've uncovered it. Made by conservative stay-at-home wives. I knew
Stay-at-home
it.
wives. I think they would be the raunchiest ones because they're home all day and they get bored.
Oh, they're kinky. We know it.
Yeah. Maybe not necessarily with their partner. I'm plenty of room to step out while he's working and you're at home.
Housewives was a very popular show.
Let me see. And we have Marty. I always saw the setting as an urban legend told from teen to teen through the ages.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had never thought about it that way.
I mean, there are like the stereotypical, perhaps, urban legends that teens, young adults will throw around and pass on and scare each other with. So,
Yeah, kind of like a twist on Bloody Mary, I guess. I don't know any other sort of STD monster or anything that can be transmitted via fluids.
chlamydia.
Well, it's not fun having it, but
No, no. That's one of the.
um,
Remember, people, condoms.
like what would the sister monster be if you had an STI? Now that who knows how that thing would attack.
Ew. Sometimes we don't want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see interesting little takes. I like how the ending is open-ended, where Jade and Doofus guy kind of walk off into the sunset, and the this little sex demon's walking around in the background, and I don't think they're even aware of it. But it kind of gives you that echo effect. Like there's more that continues, like they continue through the stress and the trauma and that dread that you see. It's, kind of like, well, it's not over until it's over.
Yeah, it pretty much ends when you do. And it's interesting also that this isn't one of those situations where we get our quote unquote stereotypical ending to a
No.
horror film, like everyone's dead but one final girl, or the entity is dead, we've defeated it. It's not that. It's something in between where the entity is not going to be stopped, no matter what you do,
See,
but you can continue.
excuse me, sorry. I'm kind of leaning towards Jade was something else. Like, I don't really consider her a final girl because
Yeah,
it's not like her group of friends, not really, other than just being pushed away or, sent flying, but she's the only focus.
yeah, and she doesn't necessarily have to battle said threat alone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she kind of had the Scoobies with her.
Yes.
But I did like that. I don't know if you would say semi-climax with the swimming pool, and they had all of these devices to try and electrocute it.
Yeah, that
And
was rather intriguing.
yeah, I mean, that's probably the most action-packed scene in the entire movie, which I liked. That one does have good tension, and I was actually not worried for Jade, but I felt nervous watching it the first time I saw this, like uncomfortable.
Yeah, like there's if the entity thing doesn't get her, then there is the chance that she herself could be electrocuted.
Yeah, instead it just chucked objects at her, which I'm surprised she didn't catch a TV in the head.
Ooh, with the box TVs, no less. No, no.
Yeah. Let me see. And then I have Marty. I saw it as one of those, as the death of youth and innocence, and how, yeah, I like that. That's good.
Yeah,
How it's a slow process, but, sorry, first but fixed sexual awakening, and the floodgates been broken and destroyed.
I could see that. A coming of age, so to speak,
Yeah, because
story in a way.
I'm stuck on that whole transmitted thing. But yeah, it's at least on my end, I couldn't really pick up any other themes, but I do like what Marty said, and I can totally see that.
Yeah, it. I guess it's also a look at some of the anxieties, perhaps, of teens, young adults who are becoming sexually active, and
Hmm.
all the horrifying stories that they might have been told about what could happen if you're not careful.
Yeah. Um, I actually forgot what I was going to say. um, yeah, I guess I'll just have to move on. If I'm lucky, I'll remember later.
That's how it usually works.
Yeah, by then we'll probably be talking about Frosted Flakes, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way. Yeah, I'm totally scratching my head like, what was I going to say? So, yeah, let me see. I was on, I didn't notice um, any other backing themes. Marty said, yeah, it could be seen as a coming of age, or, kind of like a darker S.C. Hinton, like the disillusionment of youth, even though I kind of borrowed that idea from Marty.
Yep. I'm sure there's a lot, really, that could be read into it. It's all subjective, of course. Isn't it fabulous?
Yeah, I mean, I like how it's left open to interpretation. You can kind of, to a degree, make your own thoughts and judgments or just observations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here's Marty saying about Mika. Mika Monroe was setting herself to be a nifty final girl. With this and the guest back then, both had a banner soundtracks.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved the soundtracks.
They're
I
very
think I
distinctive.
I think I have the guest. Yeah, I have it on vinyl.
Ooh.
It Follows, I think, was on CD. which I wouldn't mind going back and getting that one on vinyl. I do love the electronica or the synthesizers, and the guy
Yeah.
who um, who did the soundtrack. I saw the featurette. He originally started off in video game music.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can kind of see that in like the music type, which I love. It's very unique. I hadn't really heard those types of tones used together.
Yeah, and there are a number of moments where what he did as far as helping to build the tension worked quite well.
Yeah, I mean it worked really well. It's kind of like you have he said in the attack scenes he was kind of going for like a psycho motif,
Okay.
like with the shrieking,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
okay.
yeah, I mean I can kind of see that. Um yeah, and it does kind of, I don't know, at least for me it kind of adds to like the whole tension. I know I keep saying that a lot, but it's kind of like one of those anxiety moments
Yeah.
like it's here, get away, even though it takes its time walking. It's kind of like it's taking a Sunday stroll. But once it catches up, it's like, forget about it. You're
Yeah.
done.
It gets close enough, that's where it goes very berserk like.
Yeah, like, going back to the beach house, which I thought was maybe one of the most action scenes also. I think there's probably only two where it sneaks up on her. We see the friend's point of view. They can't see anything. Jade has her back turned, and it lifts her hair just randomly. That's the only reason they finally become aware that, oh, she's not nuts, so she's not making this thing up,
Yeah.
that there's actually something there. But it does leave that element of surprise because to a degree you can't see it, at least in my opinion. And just the weird way it lifts her hair, like it was going to drag her by her hair, but it just dangles in the air.
True. And of course, yet again, another wide shot where we see the whole chaos that unfolds from that. Of everybody trying to figure out what is it, where is it?
Yeah. 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 Eventually they did get to the whole thing, like just point where it is, keep pointing.
Yeah. Use a laser pointer or something.
Oh, Lordy. That'd be funny. I do like how it isn't affected. Like it gets shot in the head, it gets shot numerous times, and it'll probably drop and then it just gets right back up. It's kind of once again the Jason Voorhees thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, STD Voorhees.
Ooh, ooh. Well, he
ST
looks the
Voorhees.
part sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of like that you don't see its true form. Like, what does it actually look like? It just
Yeah.
masks itself in all these other people or just randoms.
Yeah, and I think that helps a lot. I'm one of the people who's a big proponent of sometimes not seeing it or seeing very little is better.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, as my mom would say, your imagination is going to come up with something far worse than anything anyone else can put on screen.
That's true. I love that about Event Horizon because it's one of the very few movies that actually scared me, even though I was probably in the pilot seat. But yeah, I do. Then, I mean, there are several things that are, that I do like about the film. It's just overall, it's kind of like, okay, Granny, let's move it along.
Can we pick it up, please?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's good things, not perhaps some not so good things. It's not a bad film.
Mhm.
It just depends on what you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go with it's also the mood you're in also. I mean, like
Mm.
I definitely enjoyed it a little better this time, my second watch, than I did the first time. The first time I watched it, like I said, I was just completely bored with the film, but it's in those tension scenes where it got me, which is why I keep mentioning the, that whole anxiety factor, which I think were done very well. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but I like it for what it is. It's a unique idea. I just would have liked to have seen it maybe presented differently.
Yeah. No, it's well made. It's like you said, a unique concept, and I appreciate and respect it for that. But it has frequently in the past been on my list of like kind of disappointing, or I just don't like it too much.
Hmm.
So very subjective, of course. To
Yeah.
someone, I'm sure it's their favorite film ever. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it kind of does have um, that in between, like you either like it or you dislike it. I know I saw some
Yeah.
stuff online saying it's like one of the worst movies, which I don't agree with.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've seen some horror films that are definitely on that list, and this is not one.
No. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's terrible. It's just that's the only thing that I have with it is just it feels like it drags even though there's stuff going on, and then yeah, you have those long awkward silences, which I, I imagine they're by design just to keep like that tension or that dread, as you say, throughout the entire film.
It's all about, yeah, that just, it's a continuous building of dread, really. You get little bursts, I suppose, of the chaos, but even when it ends, because of how it ends, it's like, well, you're going home with this dread. Good luck.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why the creature scenes. I know it's not really a creature; it's this disembodied whatever, even though it takes forms of stuff. The whatever monster. Um,
The whatever.
yeah, it's. I think that's why those scenes are more effective when it pops up because you kind of have like this. It's not really calm, but you still have that. I know, super overused word for this stream. I can't think of another word other than tension.
It is simply tension. Tension, dread, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I do like how they kept that. Like, you don't really get a moment to relax. Even those just the friend scenes. There's still something going on. Even when they hunt down the guy and they go to his house and she's like, "Well, explain more about this thing to me." And they're just sitting there in the. I want to say it's the yard. I see a house in the background.
Yeah, like, maybe park-esque thing.
Yeah, I felt that way. But even the guy freaks out when the girl approaches and he's like, "Do you guys see that?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, duh." Like he's still on edge waiting for this thing to take out Jade and then come after him because there really is no way of knowing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everybody was just kept on edge. And then of course you have Doofus guy who wanted to quote unquote help her because he just wanted an excuse to get in her pants.
Congratulations, you now have a demon. Good luck.
Yeah, but she never enjoys the sex. Like she usually turns away or she's just very just phoning it in.
That's not a good thing.
Not really. I mean, it's kind of like teeth minus the attack. Except teeth actually did have more action.
This is true, yes. But I guess they could be in a similar category, interestingly enough. Like teen anxiety plus sexual awakening.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Kind of like, and I think Marty touched on that also. Just a coming of age film is sort of what it is. I remembered eventually.
Oh!
Let me see, but yeah, we have Lady Sacher. What did I just watch? And hey,
Yeah.
just popping by to say hey, talk to you later. And then Marty, it actually reminds me of the cheesy dinosaur movie I'm researching, El Sandino? I don't know, I can't.
I'm too white, I can't, I'm sorry.
Oh, Sonido de la Muerte, The Sound of Death.
Okay.
Okay, I was thinking in English, not realizing this was a Spanish film. And then, of course, Marty says Sound of Terror. So I guess they just used a different translation, but Yeah, it's about an unviable dinosaur who stalks people and they can only hear its shriek.
Well, that's just terrifying.
Sounds like something I would watch. It sounds oddball enough. Like all those weird asylum films like Shark This, Shark That, Shark Exorcist.
Oh, God.
Um, what was the one about the priest?
Oh, Velocipastor?
Yeah, I've been interested in watching that one.
It oddly enough, I've seen like a little clip from it, and I'm like, well, this is just goofy as hell. I might watch it.
Yeah, I mean it's probably something you might want to do with some sort of substance aiding in the viewing.
Best enjoyed when loaded. Understood.
Yeah, I do like movies that don't take themselves seriously. Also, just something light and goofy. But
Oh, sure. We
yeah,
are
I
not
mean,
only watching Kubrick over here.
but yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I have for this movie, unless there was something additional that you wanted to bring up or that we didn't touch on.
No, I think we covered it rather well, really. It's
Yeah,
up for interpretation. I'm sure somebody, at least one person out there, will have a very different interpretation of it. So at least
yeah.
there's that in its favor.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it is, but overall, I don't know if it's something I would recommend to somebody.
Yeah, it would depend. It's a very niche kind of thing, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Ty West is probably the king of slow burners slash retro, but this one definitely does not have that.
It doesn't have the it doesn't have the Ty Westisms.
No, which, I mean, I like his slow burners. Darn it, I can't remember the name. The devil one where the girl's babysitting and they turn out to be a cult.
Oh, crap. What is it?
Is
House
it?
of the
I
Devil?
saw House of the Devil. I saw the devil. No, I think it was House of something. Yeah.
I think so, possibly.
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on Innkeepers, but I did like House of the Devil.
And of course, now everybody's very excited for the Maxine. If it's gonna be 80s, then I'm here for it.
Yeah, he does do that, and I love how he uses the filming style that was during that era also. He doesn't use
True.
modern day filming techniques. And it does, at least in my opinion, it adds to the feel of the film. It adds to the viewing experience. I think I was just redundant there.
The message has been received.
Yeah. Um, oh, and Marty says, "Yo, Lady Sasha." Oh, Invisible Dinosaur.
Okay. Gotcha.
Velocipaster is not paleo accurate, in case anyone was wondering.
Thank you. You know, I was really concerned about that. I wasn't sure. You know, comparison with Jurassic Park might be a good double feature.
I'm not sure what I would pair it with. I mean,
For
definitely if you
some,
want to watch a goofy movie after this that's good, I would probably
yeah.
say Sharknado.
Oh God. If you want to keep it the theme, people. For some reason, and maybe this is just because it's like Pastor, who also happens to be some sort of carnivorous monster thing. For whatever reason, in my mind, I'm going Silver Bullet.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Probably a very
Morphine
odd double
priest.
feature, but there you are.
I don't know if this Velocipaster would be mad the way the Silver Bullet priest was.
Yeah, I don't. Well, again, I don't know very much about it. Marty, confirm. But I think the Velocipaster, which is quite a mouthful, thank you. I think he's supposed to be more good guy? Question
Um,
mark?
I don't know. See, I wouldn't even know if like he had some sort of a Spider-Man radioactive reaction that made him this Velocipaster, or if he was an archaeologist or something. Well, no, he's a priest.
Hey, he could be double duty. We don't know.
Archeo priest.
I mean, hey, remember Exorcist? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Oh, there we go. Velocipaster versus Wolf Cop. I love the first Wolf Cop. The second one was meh.
I need to re-watch the first Wolf Cop. I was kind of distracted when that had come on. I think it was Joe Bob Briggs.
Mm.
So I need to revisit.
Yeah, I loved Wolf Cop. I would definitely recommend that one. I don't know what I would pair it with. Definitely not Teen Wolf, even though the first one does have a Teen Wolf reference in it.
Hey. Otherwise, Wolf Cop, it has perhaps a whiff of similar tones to Teen Wolf, but it's more visceral, shall we say, more brutal to some degree. I know the transformation scene made a lot of guys cross their legs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really remember the transformation in that. I mean, I love how he keeps his uniform, though.
Yes, now that brilliant, marvelous. We're bringing in some of that Lon Chaneyism right there. That's lovely.
Yeah. I think it was a Canadian film, if I remember correctly.
I think so. I think they kind of made something of a big deal about that, either with the production itself or in the movie. I'm not sure.
And then just really quick, Marty says, I loved It Follows. It felt like something that akin to the Cat People remake or Hunger from the early 80s.
Interesting. Okay, I could see that. In both of those, yeah, no, actually, I can see that, especially Cat People, because that's all about
Yeah, it's very
sexuality
sexual.
and
Yeah.
awakening in some form, and the hunger, of course, that's like transference.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Marty mentioned the hunger, and my first thought was the post-punk music in it. Bela Lugosi's
Oh,
dead,
yes.
and that opening scene.
The club everybody wants to visit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Hero Raptor who fights ninjas and evil scientists. I have to watch this.
Yeah, that checks out. All right.
It sounds like something I'd watch. I like those silly movies from time to time.
All right, so here we got a pastor who also is able to turn into a velociraptor. Okay, what else can we add to this? Ninjas, perfect, perfect.
I mean, just for kicks and giggles, throw in some bikini babes while you're at it.
Of course, it's part of the requirements, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. And of course, with this type of movie, they're probably big and fake, and they look like Play-Doh.
Maybe. At least she's buoyant. That's great for her. She will never drown.
Yeah. They don't move when she walks. It's like it's unnatural.
Maybe, but you still got people who are watching now, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I love the elements of the B flicks, even the bad ones. They can
Yeah.
be fun, especially when you find those gems rather than just going through all the turds.
No, it's typically I've found, of course, I'm certainly no snob when it comes to movies, especially horror movies. You should take a look at my likes list. Oh, but in most B horror films, you can kind of tell that the people behind it knew exactly what they were making and had fun with it and just said, let's see how far we can push this.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think that sounds about right, actually.
I mean, I like Reanimator, so.
Oh, I love Reanimator. That one's silly fun.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a movie that I think didn't take itself too seriously.
No, definitely not. There was a lot of opportunity, shall we say, for some sort of like dark, twisted humor, and they saw that.
Yeah. I like the dead cat gag. That one's pretty fun.
Rufus, no!
Oh, let me see. Actually, Kara, if you want a literally cheesy
Uh-oh.
movie, check out Mad Heidi. Heidi fought by Viking nuns to fight fascist
What?
Swiss army soldiers who kill lactose intolerant people.
That seems very niche and very prejudiced.
Hmm.
Some
Against
cheese.
lactose. You will drink the milk or I will kill you.
You will eat this block of cheese. Ah!
No, I'm going to be bloated and I'm going to spend all night in the bathroom. Maybe that's how they die.
Ah. Well, that would make sense. I have heard that it feels like it at least, so.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Marty would definitely be a to-go-to guy for some weird movie recommendations. He's coming up with some pretty neat ones.
You've got a very interesting letterbox, don't you, Marty? You and Jen, and we'll have a very interesting movie marathon.
Yeah. Yeah, like I love their trash picture reviews. They
Yeah.
pull up some weird stuff that I've never heard of.
And someone
And
out
then
there on YouTube searching for the specific movie is going, yes!
yeah, I've had those situations like there was a vampire movie called Blood and Donuts.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's wasn't as fun as I thought it would have been. It's kind of
That is something you kind of take a risk with, I guess, is you'll come across a movie that has a ridiculous title and premise, and you watch it and you're like, oh, that was a bit of a letdown.
oh yeah. Um yeah, there's Fond Boarding, also Love Reanimator, was I meant to leave a note, Dead Cat Details Later.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I had done quite a while ago. We need to resuscitate, ironically, this little cosplay, but I had done a cosplay for Herbert West,
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
I actually made that on a sticky note. You know, cat dead, details later.
Yeah. It's just out of nowhere and it just sounds funny. You know, kind of
Yeah,
like dinner in the dinner in the stove, find it in the warmer.
it has a very interesting little. You have to think about it because it sounds like such a mundane thing, and then you catch. Wait a minute, cat dead. Hold on. But that is a rather amusing moment, I think, in the movie that really showcases the levels of sarcasm that
Yeah.
Herbert has, that deadpan. Well, you could have left a note. And what would the note say, Dan? Cat dead, details later.
See, it's still funny.
Yeah. And it's become synonymous with the film. All you have to do is say that, and they're like, ah, Reanimator.
Yeah, even my vinyl score, it has that same thing with the cat on there, cat dead details later.
Sounds about right. There's a lot of merch. There's a lot of merch.
Oh, and then we have Bronson Wright Wolf. How's it going? I'm all
Bonjour.
right. I'm doing all right. Enjoying my Saturday.
Yeah.
But any plans later in the evening or just chilling?
Oh, we have some work to do, as per the usual. I've started on my Halloween reviews. We've covered Halloween 2. We covered Halloween the original some
Mhm.
number of years ago, so that's out of the way. But gotta go through. What was I writing a review for last night? I always get the titles confused. The fifth Halloween movie, I
Oh
think.
yeah, Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So we're doing that. We're almost through the Jamie Lloyd timeline, I guess is what you call it. So
Hmm. Yeah, I think at least nowadays, I don't know if he was known back then, but Paul Rudd strikes me as an odd choice for casting for a Halloween film. Nothing against him.
just a touch, just a touch. Of course, like you said, now that we know who he is, what he's known for, you go back and you watch that Halloween movie, you're like, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, yeah, it throws me off. Which oddly enough, I accept Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun.
Yes, but she doesn't. Everybody goes, yes. Yes, Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun, and Jennifer Aniston goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, with her natural nose.
This. We don't know where it went, but it's not with her anymore.
No.
That's alright. She can live her fantasy. I mean, after you're chased by a murderous leprechaun, I guess you're allowed to do whatever you want, really.
It's part of the witness protection program so that the
Right.
leprechaun wouldn't recognize her.
You change the nose, that's all we got. There you go, good luck.
Oh, let me see, Marty. How do you feel about them removing the ending showing that Herbert survived and him going when he asked about the corpse didn't kill him, he didn't have two guts?
Yeah, he didn't have the guts. Oh, well, first of all, at least they left in the strangled by, I believe, the larger intestine, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen that deleted scene. You do get to see Meg, Barbara Crampton, has successfully been reanimated by Dan.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little joke about that as well, but I don't know. I guess I understand why they decided to leave that out to make it more ambiguous and just in case it turned out to be it has to be a one-off thing, then things are kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even aware of an alternate ending or deleted scene, but I like how the original ends. It's just fine to me.
Yeah, it seems more, I guess, chaotic.
Yeah.
Maybe an ending kind of like that would have made it slow a little too much.
Um, it makes me wonder. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but did Brian Usna also direct the Reanimator, the same guy that did Society?
Ryan Usna worked on Reanimator. It was Stuart Gordon who directed the first.
Ah,
However, Brian Usna did direct Bride and Beyond, I believe.
oh, okay. Yeah, I like. He comes up with some pretty weird stuff too.
Very much. We must sit down with Mr. Usna and ask a few questions.
Starting with, what does breakfast normally consist of?
Yeah, I'm just curious, man, how many LSD tablets you use there, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. But then again, the whole shunting scene, that was something else.
Very much. Yes.
Uh, I do like the practical effects, though. That probably must have been a bit difficult to pull off because you have this mass with different weird shapes. You don't want anything collapsing or flopping over.
Yeah, ironically, you don't want it looking too fake. That must have been a lot of, I'm guessing, like, latex, foam latex,
Yeah,
KY jelly, probably.
KY would make sense in that scene.
Yes. Yes, it doesn't evaporate too quickly, and it'll make it look just slimy and disgusting.
Yeah,
Perfect.
nice and slippery.
Yes. That must have been real fun. All right, we need you to come over here. Oh, and he fell. Pick him up.
I don't know, but it adds to that like sweaty, gross feel of just an orgy.
Yes, an orgy of the upper class. Ew.
Yeah, they know how to raunch it.
I guess. Good lord. Explains a lot, really.
Let me see. We have Bronson. Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston were in Wanderlust. Have either of you seen it? Nope.
Nope.
I don't even know what it's about.
I've heard of it, but yeah, I could not tell you anything
Yeah,
about it.
same. Title's familiar, not a clue of what's it about.
That must be in the jurisdiction that I don't go to.
Oh, I love this. Marty says, yes, us Irish can be easily confused by nose jobs. Slight change in the spectrum and we can recognize you.
Got it. Understood.
Goddamn autocorrect. I hope its creator is burning in hello.
Touche, sir.
Is the chat free now? Yeah.
Yep. You
Yeah,
are safe.
we were talking animator earlier, and reanimator, Velocipaster.
You know, just the usual. Little society thrown in there, which actually, I must mention this because I think it's greatly amusing. I swear I'm not a masochist, but I might be a little bit of a sadist. We don't know. I've seen Society, of course, but something that I have been doing occasionally, just so I don't want to torment him too much. CP of Willis Credia. I've been bringing him along, holding his hand through some horror movies he has not seen. I have been privileged enough to introduce him to Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator, and we'll be watching Beyond a first time for both of us sometime. But he hasn't seen Society. So shunting doesn't mean anything to him, so I'm here going, oh goody, I'll add
Yeah.
it to the list.
It's one of those moments, it's kind of like, oh, well, I wish I could watch this with you on the prompter. I have to watch your reaction.
Yes, it has to be live and I have to be there. Yeah, as I said, don't look it up. Don't. Just going blind, man. Trust me. Bad choice, but trust me.
Yeah, that's the way I watched it, and I didn't regret it.
Yeah. Once again, Joe Bob Briggs has been quite an interesting enabler, shall we say, to get me to watch some new horror movies that maybe I wouldn't have picked on my own. Society, I believe, was one. So
He's pulled up some stuff I've never heard of. Like I did love Daughters of Darkness. That one was good.
yes, some of that. What do they call it? Euro eroticism, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That vampire kink, you know.
Let me see. Yeah, he's done a few that I've already watched. So I just watch it for his commentary.
Yeah, he has some fun stuff to contribute. Some stuff you might not have known about, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew his sources. Like some of those I've researched for my own review channel, and it's kind of like, oh wow, you pulled up this thing that I've never even heard of.
Yeah, where'd you get that?
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like sparkling eyes, like, ooh, what's this shiny thing?
I'll make note of that, thank you.
Let me see. Slipknot says, I saw Wanderlust. It was an okay comedy.
Okay, comedy.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And then Reanimator stars Jeffrey Combs. He has a huge filmography.
Yeah.
I loved him in Would You Rather. That one was a good one. Also, just like an intense film that doesn't let up.
I need to watch that one yet. It actually surprised me when I learned that he was in it. So I get more incentive for me. I actually first saw Jeffrey Combs, was introduced to him, if you will, in The Frighteners.
Oh, yeah. I liked his character, especially when he does the reveal, opens his shirt, and he has these piercings and branding on him.
Yeah, all the scars and... Good Lord, man, therapy. Intensive therapy.
Yeah, I mean, I love The Frighteners. That one's a lot of fun. I'm surprised I haven't gotten that one on Blu-ray or DVD. I used to have the VHS with that changing image on the front with the...
lenticular cover.
Yeah, lenticular.
I have seen it on just cable. Michael J. Fox, I blame him. But I was just looking for movies Michael J. Fox had been in, because, of course, I've enjoyed his work since Back to the Future. And came across The Frighteners, never heard of it. Okay, well, we'll watch it. And afterwards, anytime it came on, sit down and watch it. I have the Blu-ray. I have heard that there's supposed to be, I want to say UK, possibly UK.
Oh, yeah.
They released some sort of special edition, like, pack, like, kit, and I'm just sitting over here going, we must have it.
Yeah, region-free players, that's definitely the way to go.
Yes, I have my PlayStation 4, 3? I have a PlayStation. It plays Blu-rays, DVDs, and stuff, and Marty told me that that's a region-free player, essentially, so I'm good.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wish I had kept my PS3.
I didn't know. I was concerned.
Yeah. Only one way to find out.
True. Just pop the disc in. If nothing else, we'll just keep it.
Oh. Let me see. What are some of your concerns with the Halloween franchise?
How much time do we have?
Uh-oh. Yeah, we still have a good while to go.
I'm only slightly joking, of course, but it had a few concerns, perhaps per movie. This will just get people lighting torches, I'm sure. But the original Halloween, to me, is eh.
Oh.
It's not a masterpiece, like I know a lot of people will tote it as. To me, it's perfectly fine. I certainly respect and appreciate everything that it has inspired and how it was made. It's not a favorite, but particularly in the franchise, it's not a favorite of mine. But, you know, I'm one of those people that like Season of the Witch, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, and it does, it suffers from sequelitis, which is
Very much.
pretty much my only complaint about it, like especially when we get to Jamie Lloyd, that trilogy, and I don't
Yeah.
know, it feels like to me that was the beginning of the series just becoming goofy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit. And then we get Halloween Resurrection. Oh boy.
I don't remember if I've seen that one. Is that the one with the body cams?
I believe so, yeah. It's kind of like a reality television show kind of thing
Yeah.
that they were trying to do in the Myers house. And you got Busta Rhymes,
Yeah,
who
I've
kung fu
seen
kicks Michael.
I've seen that one. I didn't really like it too much.
It's typically the one that takes the most beating in the Halloween franchise, according to a lot of people. So, you know. And of course, now we have another punching bag for the fandom, which is Halloween Ends.
I
Or as I
haven't
like to
seen
say,
that.
Halloween quote unquote ends.
Oops. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen the first one from that. I've seen Halloween Kills, and that's it. I just caught the middle one.
Okay. Well, I mean, personally, I don't think it's a bad trilogy. I think there's a lot that could have been done differently. And, of course, I'm sure if you just look at some of the things that people say about Halloween Ends, you'll hear about Corey, the character of Corey. If I do agree with, if he had been introduced earlier in this
Hmm.
trilogy, then maybe it would have worked better. I can understand why some people are upset. It's a fine horror film to me, but as the, again, quote unquote end of such a long franchise, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only franchise I can think of that's been going on since before I was born, and it's still
Yep,
going.
pretty much. Or, well, I guess, I mean, for me, I guess I'm a little bit different. Friday the 13th, that's not going still unless you count fan films.
Ah, not
Uh,
really.
See, I'm not exactly a huge, like, big franchise person.
Oh,
I
okay.
appreciate them and I like little parts, little installments of them individually, but I'm not one of those ride or die individuals, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm a phantasm person. I don't know.
I haven't seen that in years. I rewatched it a few years back, and it's like, man, I remember liking this, and I'm like, I was left with that sense. I want to like it, but I love
uh,
the film score.
True. Yeah, the film score would be banging, though. Yes.
Yeah, it's banging like prom night.
Well,
You see, Caffeine Club says Ends was better than Kills.
I'm inclined to agree.
My only complaint about kills was Jamie Lee Curtis. She's in a hospital bed the entire time, and then she
Yeah,
decides to shoot herself in the butt with some stuff, and that's when she finally gets out of the bed.
you gotta get them good drugs. Them motivator drugs right there. Yeah, it's. I understand what it was going for. I listen to podcasts that will talk about horror films, of course.
Hmm.
And one of them that I quite enjoy is the Horror Queers. And they were talking about Halloween kills. And it's quite an insightful episode, in my opinion. I do recommend. But they were talking about what the film was trying to say, kind of like a mob mentality thing, and how harmful that can be. And I get that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's very important, especially now. But some things could have been done better. And of course, shout out to CP once again. He had seen a different version of the ending, and it's not the one that we got. And according to him, the ending that he saw, that they, I guess, cut out, was better. So, but once again, this is coming from someone who is not a major Halloween fan, so grain of salt.
I haven't seen all of them. Same thing with Friday the 13th. The only one I've watched all the way through is Nightmare on Elm Street, mostly just because I'm a Freddy girl.
Fair enough. I'm making my way through the franchises. You know, every once in a while
Yeah.
we get distracted by a little thing from the '80s no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, I mean, I do like, for what it's worth, I did like Freddy's Dead. I mean, that's probably the goofiest one out of all of them, but
I am going to let you have Freddy's Dead, but I will say that's my least favorite of the franchise.
well,
I was
it's
one of
so
those that was like,
silly.
really? No,
Like the
I
Wizard of
mean,
Oz reference.
yeah,
You even had that old drug commercial. This is your brain on drugs, and I
yeah,
think
with
that
Johnny Depp.
was, yeah, the Johnny Depp cameo.
I didn't see the maybe restart. My major problem with that film is pretty much only one portion of it,
Hmm.
and that's how they defeated Freddy, shall we say? Because it seemed very, very lackluster. Like, here's his daughter, whom we just found out is his daughter,
Yeah,
and he's trying to encourage her to become like him. How is this gonna turn? And she killed him. What the? Really?
it runs
That's
in the
it.
family after all.
Yeah. These children are not loyal. It could have been better, I guess, in my opinion, in that area of things. Otherwise, I can enjoy a majority of the rest of the film. Just didn't appreciate how they went
I
about that.
I did like that. What was it? The Alice Cooper backstory. That one I didn't
Yep.
mind.
You see Alice Cooper popping up in horror movies every once in a while, like, hey,
Yeah. He did one about monster dogs. I think that's what it was
oh
called,
god, yeah.
Monster Dog.
Monster Dog, yes. Yep. From the same guy who brought us Troll 2. Are you ready?
Ew. Okay, Monster Dog was better than Troll 2, though.
I mean, I see it as. I mean, as a Cooper fan, keeping in mind certain recent things that have happened,
Oh, yeah.
I I would consider Monster Dog something of a guilty watch, shall we
Hmm.
say? But I use that loosely as I have no shame. I'm also the type of person who sought a Blu-ray copy of Slaughterhouse Rock, so there you
Ah,
go. I have it. I have Monster Dog on Blu-ray. I've watched it. I've reviewed it. It's goofy as hell.
yeah, I,
Truly a goofy movie that you shouldn't take seriously and just sit down for a mindless watch. There's a couple of nice songs in there. They do dub Alice Cooper's voice. This was an Italian
ah,
style movie, if you will. It was shot in Spain, I want to say. But they did it the Italian way, as I like to say, which is they didn't have audio equipment there when they were shooting, so they
Ah,
dubbed afterwards. That's just how
oh,
they do
okay.
things. And the voice that we hear for Mr. Cooper, that's not him. But when he's singing, that's him.
Huh. Weird.
A little bit. Throws you off a little because you're like, wait a minute.
No, I've only seen it once. Same thing. It's just so, I usually have long gaps in between rewatches, so I really don't
Yeah.
remember the story.
It's thin. It's a thin story, kind of shallow. You barely get your feet wet. Just your usual, what is his name? Vincent, which again, if you know, it's ironic.
Hmm.
But he's a rock star, shocker, whom with his crew goes back to his childhood home, which I guess his family had to flee from because locals thought his father was a werewolf and killed him. So, good place to go back for a nice little vacation, I guess.
Yeah. Frankenstein reference.
Yeah, film some music videos there, and oh yeah, by the way, there's a pack of I guess killer dogs of varying breeds for some reason roaming around. So werewolf film, kind of, sort of, maybe, possibly. Once again, don't look too deeply into it. You might enjoy it. So
Yeah. Let me see. And then we have Bronson, right? Steph mentioned Season of the Witch. I'm curious. What are your thoughts on the witch? Oh, I love Witches
oh
of Eastwick.
yeah,
That question is for both of you.
yeah, no, I agree. It's a fun film. I like it. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I
you have so many people there. Oh my god.
yeah, it's a good
Cher,
cast. I
darling.
liked it.
Yeah.
I do love Cher's tell off when she's like really running it into Jack Nicholson. That was awesome.
Yes. Yes. Bless her. She's coming back with that clap back. Uh,
Yeah.
yes. Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer, Cher, Jack Nicholson, and of course, other familiar faces. I forget her name, but the wife of the guy who's in charge of the newspaper, she was in Alien,
Oh, okay.
and I'm sure other things, of course, but I like it. It's
Ah,
a very entertaining movie to
was
me.
that
So
the vomiting cherries woman?
yes,
I love that scene.
she was making it work. She was going for it,
Yeah.
and of course when they do the spell work on Jack Nicholson, I always find greatly amusing.
Mm. Oh, yeah, and then he morphs into this weird thing.
Yes, hey, CGI, it's not perfect back then, but I'm willing to forgive a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. Kills turned him into Jason Voorhees and ruined the character. Halloween.
I guess I could kind of sort of see that. Yeah. See, you can't kill him. Yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah.
Thank you. The evil
Why?
dies
We don't
tonight.
know.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The movie theaters. All you would hear, evil dies tonight. I sure hope it does.
No, they lied.
Yep. Do you really think that the Halloween franchise has ended? Give it 5 years.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the reboots. People don't seem to like the Rob Zombie ones. I like the first one just because it develops the whole, mythology about the mask.
Still very confused about that white horse, but okay.
Oh, yeah, the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't make any sense to me. Like, okay, why do we need dead Sherry Moon other than, he puts her in everything that he's worked on, which
Yeah.
I think is awesome. Like, obviously they want her, they enjoy working together.
Yeah. That's yeah. As I've said, I have no issue with Rob Zombie himself. I really don't. He seems like a very interesting guy to hang out with. Very chill.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, as a person, I have nothing against Sherry Moon Zombie. Really, as an actress,
She got better over time.
yeah, yeah. Was she the person to play Lily Munster? No, but I really do think it's great. They love each other. They've been together this long. He still sees her as this beautiful, sexy individual, and she will only really do work on his movies. That's great. I love that. Can we have anybody else in the female lead, please?
I
Please.
think the only film she's done without Rob is the remake of the Toolbox Murders.
Okay. Huh.
But that's the only one to my knowledge. So I guess she didn't care for that too much, just working away. Oh, Marty says, "What's your thoughts on Halloween 3? Love that movie. Gave us what's an essentially an Irish warlock by way of a Bond villain."
You're not wrong. We do appreciate some villainous Irish representation, you know? I mean, he's a businessman. I like it. I don't know if I've shifted my opinion around a little bit on some of the films since I'm going through them now. The ranking is going to be very interesting. I'm sure it won't upset anybody. The Halloween 3 I think is quite fun. When I first watched it, I did not understand all the hate it had been given. Like, truly. It's coming around now, interestingly enough. People are giving it another chance, much like Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that. I think on its own, perfectly fine. It's a fun film. You got Tom Atkins. You even get to see some naked Tom Atkins cheeks. What more could you want?
Woohoo.
So, nice effects. A pretty cool score. Yes, I realize that the jingle is annoying, but that's kind of what it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah. See,
The
I love those iconic masks.
Yeah, I like those. It's something very nostalgic in Halloween in a way, so I'm sure that's why a lot of people connect to it. Kind of like the boo buckets from McDonald's, you know?
Oh yeah, I had those.
I have a few, they're not the same ones that we see with like the ghost and the witch and the pumpkin, but I have a few.
Yeah, the design changed over time, which is kind of like, eh. I liked the
Eh,
witch one that had the shape of the coned witch hat on top of it.
yeah.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Well, no, when they did I guess, resuscitation, if you will, of that, bringing them back, like last year, I tried to get my hands on some, but by the time I got there, they're like, we're out. Okay.
Yeah.
But from what I was seeing, I think some places they might have done a bit of variation on the lids, if you will,
Hmm.
and then other places it's that weird little thin bit of plastic they put in the middle of the handle that's supposed to represent the hat, which I'm me about. So I don't know if they really brought back the full original look for them. Maybe they'll do
Uh,
something this year.
yeah, I mean, I would say no, it wasn't. I mean, to me, that wasn't the pale, but that's just me because I grew up with the original ones.
Yeah, I remember when they were giving out the Ronald McDonald movie VHSs in the buckets.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's like a whole line of Ronald McDonald based films, like animated films. It's bizarre now to look back on and go, wait, hold on. But there was one that was supposed to be like Halloweeny, kind of horror for kids esque.
Mm,
I forget was probably Ronald McDonald Scared Silly or something like that. But that was the one that I would watch the most.
mm. We see we have Caffeine Club. 3 is the only behind the original, in my opinion. Yeah, I'd say the first two, they're just part one and part two as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, I just reviewed the original, shall we say, part two, and my opinion on it changed. I don't think it's horrible. It's just slow. Not much really happens. It's kind of lackluster, so,
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, especially if you
Jamie's
want to go through the whole franchise. It's fine.
Jamie's wig in that one's probably the worst part of the movie.
Yes, we gotta get a wig quick. Can we at least work on it? No.
Yeah, it was very fluffy. It was almost like the Myers teased hair or the
Oh yeah, she got some matching hair with that mask. That's brilliant. It's fabulous.
let me see. I theorized that Michael was meant to be killed by the mob in Halloween Kills and the evil infected town, and later into Corey. But I'd say the studio got cold feet and shoehorned Michael into it.
It's very possible. I could see what you mean there, and I think. I mean, we kind of see the whole idea of like Michael's evil, if you will, kind of influencing the town, even when he's not actively out there. We kind of see that, but yeah, I imagine that they probably swiftly got cold feet. Look at what happened when they tried to do Halloween 3. So yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
bring back Michael, otherwise they won't like it. Probably
I think
right.
I think the original concept was it was supposed to be different Halloween stories for each one in the franchise, and
Yep.
then they just went back and stuck with Myers instead.
Yeah, it was from what I have learned, shall we say, in recent history here. You got the original Halloween, of course, then you got the original Halloween 2, because studio execs said, hey, we could capitalize on Michael Myers, let's make a sequel, and John Carpenter was like, do we have to?
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Deborah Hill, they wanted to do an annual kind of Halloween anthology. It would center around Halloween night, and it wouldn't involve Michael Myers. But they tried that with Season of the Witch, and it just face planted into the ground because at that point, unfortunately, people were expecting Michael Myers, so studio execs had to go back to Michael Myers.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fub was that they did that part one, part two of the first one. If they hadn't done that, maybe it would have worked out better.
Yeah, it might have actually worked. Alas.
Let me see, and then Slipknot. I was watching an interview with Quentin Tarantino. He said his friends loved Phantasm, but it did nothing for him.
It's all about personal taste. It's a weird franchise as a whole. You gotta, once again, don't look too closely at the story or why some things happen or don't happen. Don't try to explain it. Just go along for the ride.
I mean, I like the weird stuff. It's just same here. It's the second rewatch that I did. It was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah. It's.
But I did. I wanted to like it.
Yeah, I think you have to be into particular things with horror, very forgiving, like I said, and just have a bit of a twisted view. A bit of a twisted view about things. I guess if it had been made now, the original at least, people probably would have called it artsy to some degree. It's an indie film made on like a shoestring.
Yeah.
But it's impressive for that, I must say. I like it primarily because of the characters. Like Mike is my favorite character. Tall man, Reggie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I do. I like the tall man, especially that orb or that spear. But then again, it's one of those well-known things.
Yeah, you show a little chrome ball and people are like, mm.
Yeah. Oh, and then of course Caffeine Club. For Marty, your theory for kills ends would have been better than what we got.
I mean, I've heard that. I've heard that.
Let me see. And then I like the Phantasm movies. The tall man is an iconic horror villain. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, a little underappreciated, I would say.
Oh. But I still love that score. Unfortunately, I got a scratch on the second side of mine. I'm like, I don't know how to fix scratched vinyl.
No, I'm sure there's a way. I swear I heard something about fixing scratched vinyl, but I'm not sure. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a way.
I mean, I've seen at least one video on YouTube where they said do the black mass thing, where just run the record backward. I'm like, no, I would probably risk ruining it worse.
Yeah, I don't know how running it backward would fix it. You might summon something, but I don't know about fixing it.
Who knows? I don't know, just weird, weird method. I wouldn't try it.
No.
Let me see. Alice also popped up in Prince of Darkness. Yeah,
Correct?
another one I haven't seen, and I think Dr. Loomis is in that one also.
Yeah, he plays a priest, essentially. He doesn't have any other names, just the priest.
We seem to be on a priest theme today, Velocipaster, and then
Yeah.
oh, you mentioned Exorcist with the priest. I don't
Yeah.
remember if there was at least one more.
Silver Bullet.
Oh yeah, Silver Bullet.
It's priests, man, you know?
They have their niche.
True.
Oh, New Nightmare is pretty good. Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I like New Nightmare. I love that one.
Yeah.
I would definitely have the original one and New Nightmare up at the top of my list if I had to rank them.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point I'll rank them. I'm trying to my thought process is I'm trying to cover each movie in a franchise in a review and then do a ranking. So I'll get there eventually, but Freddy's Revenge and New Nightmare are my favorites in the franchise.
Yeah, I have a weird habit. I do all of my franchises in the same go in the same video, but
Bless
yeah,
you.
there are definitely a few. I'd probably have to cut them into part one, part two, because some franchises are so big.
True, there's a lot that can happen in quite a few franchises, really.
Yeah.
And you end up like 2 hours later and you're like, shh.
Yeah, I mean, like Halloween, for example, I'd probably separate the original ones from the Rob Zombie and then the
Yeah.
reboots.
Yeah, that would make sense. The timelines, plural, are confusing. Very confusing. I thought Jamie Lee already had a kid over here. Oh, this is a different kid? Who is this?
Yeah, I guess they did it kind of like retcon, like, oh no, we're doing a do-over. This is the story now.
Yeah. More restarts than Batman.
Oh lordy. Anything is better than nipple Batman.
What about Butt Zipper Batman?
Oh yeah, the George Clooney one. Why do we need so many butt close-ups?
Because, well, the director was bi, I think.
Ah.
I don't know.
See, that kind of borders on the franchise going goofy, but it didn't completely go that way.
Not entirely, no. It's once again, it's kind of like a pick your own adventure kind of thing. What tone do you want?
Yeah. Let me see. And then myself and Jid did a Trash Fire review for Freddy's Dead. By Christ, had we differing opinions.
That seems to be a rather divisive one, actually, from what I have observed. So, hey. I don't hate it with a fiery passion, but I dislike elements. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's one of the few that I saw in theater, and then of course watching it younger and numerous rewatches. I think that's why I like it. It's just that familiarity.
A bit of like nostalgia.
Yeah. I mean, especially that silly Wizard of Oz reference towards the beginning.
Yeah. That poor kid, I say kid, teenager, being tormented for a solid 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. That movie also introduced me to Iron Butterfly. I'm like, I love Inagana Devita.
Yeah. Got a nice Goo Goo Dolls song in there.
Let me see. And then Alice Cooper was in Wayne's World. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Wayne's World, but I am aware of the clip. I believe that he also had a they were supposed to be going to this concert of Alice Cooper, and they meet him backstage. That's where the "We're Not Worthy" thing came from. Yeah. And he performs "Feed My Frankenstein," I think.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't seen that one in forever either. No, I saw the second one in theater, not the first one. Oh, and then of course Slipknot asking Marty, "Did you like Freddy's Dead?" Let me see. I liked aspects, but it turned into a Tex Avery cartoon. Yeah, I had 3 kills for a movie that was meant to be Freddy's final farewell.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that Inagana Devita. That was unique. I wasn't too crazy about the Power Glove kill though.
Yeah, I've heard people were kind of about that.
Yeah, that one was just a little much.
It's a little too gaudy for Freddy, yes.
Yeah, probably not a popular opinion, but I love House. I like that one, House of a Thousand Corpses, and not much else that he directed. It took a while for House to grow on me, though. The first time I watched it, didn't like it.
I think Zombie has a very interesting and unique way of telling his stories, and if you're not accustomed to something that I would I would call kind of grungy and harsh, it'll
Hmm.
probably throw you off. I'm still exploring his filmography, so there are
Hmm.
things that I like about how he directs and makes movies, but I need to explore a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I'll agree with that. And I think it was his directing in that first film. I was just kind of like, I think it was Otis. Towards the end, he's about to shoot somebody, and we get this long zoom out scene, and it's kind of like, okay, are you going to shoot him? Okay, how
Anytime
about
now.
now? Yeah, okay, now.
Hold
And
his
then
finger
just
on the trigger.
yeah, and it's kind of like by the time I got tired of waiting, he finally shoots.
That artistic directing.
Yeah. Um, I didn't like El Super Beasto.
That one I think a lot of people forget about.
Hmm.
I've heard it once in a while, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it another go. Same thing. First time I watched it, I did not like that one. So who knows? I might like it the second watch, or I might still say nope. Um, so who's your favorite least horror movie villain?
Intriguing. Favorites? Well, see, I don't know if you would consider them villains per se. It depends on your perspective, perhaps. Maybe antagonists at best.
Hmm.
But I've got quite a soft spot for the old Universal monster movies.
Ah,
So one of my absolute favorites is the Wolfman, but a close second is Frankenstein's monster.
okay.
Least favorite, however, now see that's a little bit more difficult to say. Huh. Well, damn. Let's think.
Yeah, that the second part of that's a tough one. I can't think of. I mean, because I wouldn't touch the classics.
Yeah,
For
well,
me,
that's what everybody always goes with. You got to come up with something real creative, you know.
yeah. I mean, I would definitely like to try and think of somebody different, but I know Freddy's my favorite. Least favorite, I can't think of one. I mean, I know I've probably run across one that I didn't like. It's not coming to mind right now.
You know what? I'll throw this out there. I know that technically speaking, she was supposed to be the protagonist. I don't know about a hero, but to me, she's a villain. Annie from Dashcam.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Save yourself.
Oh,
Save yourself. It's oh god. You want to talk about a movie that drags on? It's not a movie I recommend, to be quite honest. the character of Annie, like I said, is supposed to be our protagonist, but I consider her the real villain, is insufferable. I don't use that word lightly. And unfortunately, it's not just a case of this individual acting the part. That's pretty close to how she is in real life. And it could have been a pretty decent film. It's a found footage style. And there's some nice things about it, I guess, like the creature or creatures, if you will, but it's so long, and I checked several times to see how much we had left going through it, so at your own risk, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to check several times, that doesn't sound too good.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a least favorite. Let me see. Probably, probably Art, the clown.
A brutal little mime.
Yeah, it's just those movies are a little too silly for me, especially the second one. It's kind of like, "Ooh," it's like, do I dislike the father or the daughter more? Let's see. Oh, the H3 masks were original Don't Post Studios mask that they used for the film, hence the great retro look.
Makes sense.
And Don't Post Studios.
Yeah.
Let me see. It's called The Wacky Adventures of Ronald. There you go.
There,
Ronald
yes, thank you.
McDonald Scared Silly.
That's the one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was Freddy's Dead. It was quite cartoonish. I still enjoyed it, though. It was interesting seeing Freddy growing up during the flashbacks. Yeah, I liked those flashbacks. And I do like the 3D ending with the old glasses. I always liked that. That was fun. Lost my place here. Oh yeah, Freddy Origin was part was cool. I'm just glad that we got Wes Craven. Yeah, Wes Craven's New Nightmare after that. That wasn't the last Freddy flick. Yeah, I mean, that could have very easily been a reboot, but I like how they wrapped up everything. It felt a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, New Nightmare was probably a better send-off. Yeah, I agree.
They kind of brought it back around to where Freddy was scary again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that new design of Freddy, especially with that claw hand with the blades built in.
Yeah. Definitely a different look to it, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, we're here for the fashion, darling.
Yeah.
That long coat, yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that brought us sexy leather Freddy. That was, I'd say that was my favorite look for the whole franchise. The makeup, I don't know, it was different, but I don't have anything against it.
Yeah, it was probably a bit of a departure from something that would look truly realistic, but I don't hold it against it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And the best part, no demonic sperms in 3D.
Evil talking sperm.
Yeah, that reminds me of some ghost socks that I had seen. I forget what website had them, and I'm like, oh, it was on Killstar. And I'm like, no, that definitely looks like semen. Those are not ghosts.
Hey, I think you need to go back to the design drawing board for this one.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing I saw when I came across them, and it's like, okay, ghosts? Ghost socks.
Please tell me those are ghosts.
I don't know. I'd say it's hazardous walking around in those.
Maybe. Assumptions could be made.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Dream Gatekeepers or something. What were they called? I don't remember.
Demonic fish sperm things. That's all we know they are.
They're the sperm monsters.
Yes.
Okay, so whatever they were called, they still look, yeah, like
Yeah.
testicle tadpoles to me.
Yup. Evil tadpoles.
Oh, Super Albesto was just kind of meh. Just a cartoon filled with jokes for Rob Zombie fans, yeah. Yeah, it was a little too silly for me, but I guess that's what he was going for. Probably another one that I'd have to watch, maybe inebriated.
This is one for the people who like to be a little off. Here we go.
Oh, and then here we go. Who is your favorite Addams Family character?
Uh-huh. Uncle Fester.
Hmm. That's interesting to me, and I don't know if you knew this already, but Fester was originally related to Morticia on the show, not Gomez.
Yeah, that's what I had heard. And then I think Grandma was supposed to be Gomez's mother.
Um,
Maybe it was in the comics, I'm not sure.
I half want to say she was also Morticia's mom, but I could be wrong.
They switched things around
A lot,
a
yeah.
lot, yeah. They used to have a pet octopus, like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we appreciate Wednesday, of course,
Yeah, I
but
love
Uncle Fester.
Wednesday. But I'd have to go with Morticia, especially I like was it Caroline Jones, the original one, but I love Angelica Houston's Morticia.
Yeah, I'm. I really do. I have nothing against anybody who has portrayed Gomez, but I really like Raul Julia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say he was, at least in my opinion, the best Gomez.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've had so many people come through. Like, we even had Daryl Hannah play Morticia. I'm like, nope. I like Daryl Hannah, but you're not Morticia.
Yes, darling, you tried, but no. Even, hey, listen, even Tim Curry as Gomez, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, definitely Morticia, both, but Angelica Houston would be top of that list.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, Caroline Jones, she just had that cute little apple forehead.
Bless her, she paved the way.
Yeah, favorite Halloween candy.
Oh Lord, ooh, we are a connoisseur of Halloween candy here. We
I'd
even
say,
ate some of those gummy eyeballs.
hmm, I'd have to say the pumpkin shaped Reese's. I just like Reese's.
Yeah, Reese's are a nice default, shall we say? They're a nice go-to. Making them pumpkin shaped just kind of like adds to the flavor.
Was it the cookies and cream Hershey? They have one with vampire imprints on it. And of course, they just taste like regular, but I like that idea.
Yeah, I appreciate the novelty of
Mm-hmm.
it. I know there's like green Twix, I think they have now
I haven't seen
somewhere.
those.
Kit Kat has always been my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not opposed to really any candy.
Yeah. I mean, my preference would be I love when they change the design to make it Halloweeny rather than just
Yeah.
printing Halloween stuff on the wrapper.
Yeah, the wrapper is Halloween, the candy is the same. Thanks.
Yeah. Least favorite are those taffies that come in those black and
The black
orange
and orange, yeah.
wrappers.
I still ate them as a kid. I still
Oh,
ate them.
yeah, I ate one not really knowing what it was or what to expect, and I'm like, nope.
I think there's a comedian that I watched who was talking about that specific kind of candy, and he says tastes like peanut butter and hair.
Yeah, I mean, one that I like that everyone seems to really hate is candy corn.
I don't understand the hate for that. It's not something that I actively seek out to eat, but I'll eat it. I like the pumpkin ones.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're different than the candy corn, but I like those.
I want to say they taste slightly different.
It would make sense, I would think. I know they have different flavors of candy corn as well. Some have some chocolate. I think others might have Caramel?
Mm.
Maybe? I don't know.
No, I just go the classic ones. I didn't know it had variants.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one. What's your thoughts on the Wednesday show? Being a wee bit out Hogwarts for me, although uh, Jenna Ortega killed it as Wednesday.
I enjoyed it. That was an easy to binge series for me. And my parents decided to watch it on their own. I think it's kind of funny.
Ah,
But I agree, Jenna Ortega did a very good job with Wednesday. And I know, looking into some of the behind the scenes, if you will, she specifically wanted to do Wednesday differently than Christina Ricci, which I
yeah.
appreciate.
Hmm.
But she kept to the tone of the character quite well. So
Hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I don't have Netflix, so I'd have to find some alternate way of watching it.
there is always a way.
Yeah.
I would recommend it. I think it's fun, and I do get what you mean, Marty, about it being like an alt Hogwarts. They have the Nevermore school, which I'm here for. I'm even here for the little uniforms. That's alright.
Yeah. But I'd say we're at a good stopping point. We've come up on 2 hours.
Okay.
Unless you just want to keep going.
Whatever works for you. I don't have entirely too much going on. I do know, bit of script work, as it were, today.
Gotta go give Jen a shout. But it was awesome hanging out. Wicked stream, Dice is a fantastic guest. Ciao.
We do try, you know.
Well, thank you for saying. Yeah, I've had a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Hey, bless you, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I usually do 2 hours as an average, so I'd say
Yep.
that's probably a good point. And then the looks like the chat settled down enough to where we can.
Okay. Works for me.
Yeah, but thanks for coming on. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Maybe we can do this again sometime.
Sweetly. Thank you for inviting me. I got my own things going on as far as like bringing guests on and whatnot, so I'm sure at some point in the future I'll pester you.
Oh, cool. No, it wouldn't be pestering. I would enjoy that.
Well, that's usually the goal. We try to make it a nice little fun environment for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the feel of the chat. They're cool guys.
Yes. We always appreciate a fun chat. Yes.
Okay, last question. The great debate. The Howling
Oh
or
God.
American Wolf in London. Which one's better or the best?
Well, my automatic response is An American Werewolf in London, but they're
I'd
different tones.
Yeah, I'd go London.
Yeah. I think that one has more of a nice mix of the horror and the like dark humor that I vibe with quite well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that hospital scene with I don't know what they were, some kind of a gremlin.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, it threw me off the first time I watched it, but yeah, it grew on me. And then what was that one line with the little boy? It's like the naked American stole my
Yeah.
balloon.
The naked American man stole my balloons.
Yeah.
What? And just this, every time it kills me when David runs by. You get the wide shot. He runs by, grabs the woman's coat, and you just hear the squeak of the balloons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one's a fun one. I like that one.
Yes. I need to, side note on that, speaking of, because I like to do cosplays on occasion, I really would like to try to tackle a cosplay of Jack, like when he's still fresh but messed up.
Ah, yeah. Definitely, I can definitely see latex in that one, even though
Oh
it's
yeah,
hmm
lots of latex.
get some good textures going.
Lots of, some fake blood. Yeah, plenty of fake blood. It'll be a lot of work.
Yeah, American Werewolf seems the most popular.
Yeah. I mean, The Howling has its merits, of course, and it's a perfectly fine film. But, like I said, it depends on your tone, I think, your preferred tone for a film. That one, The Howling takes it quite seriously, and it works. But,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Halloween. Wow, Howling is good. I'm still thinking Halloween here.
it, it all
Yeah, I mean,
blends.
yeah, and I would agree with Slipknot. I think the humor for it for me would be the reason for London.
Mm,
And it's just different enough to where you can still enjoy it, but it's something familiar.
yes. Yeah. You get the vibe, essentially. You don't need a lot of,
Yeah,
like, prior knowledge with werewolves to go, okay, I see what's going on here.
yeah. But alrighty. Um, yeah, I'd go ahead and call it a day there. So for everybody who stopped by, I thank you so much for stopping by. I enjoyed the conversation as well. You guys are always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all for me today. And oh, just really quick, do you have any upcoming projects that you wanted to mention or?
Oh, well, I suppose I should, to be a good content creator. Well, I just recently released, as I had mentioned prior, my review and facts video for Halloween 2, 1981. So that
Mm-hmm.
one's up currently. I mentioned before, somewhere, probably a few different places, I'm trying to cover as much of the Halloween franchise this year as possible. We'll see how that goes. So there's going to be just about nothing but Halloween for the next month.
Yeah.
Following with, of course, Season of the Witch, facts video on that, and you know how it goes. We're going chronologically here.
Yeah.
Possibly, well, let me rephrase that. On Spotify, I'm gonna somewhat soon, last Tuesday of this month, be releasing the next episode of The Horror of Mental Health for Brain Mucus.
Hmm.
And that's with Boomer from Podcast in the Woods. We talked about Evil Dead 2.
Ah.
So keep an ear out for that. And any other streams that might come up in the future, I will, of course, let everybody know as soon as I do.
Yeah. Oh, and for myself, of course, let me see. We have Marty coming back next Saturday, and we would be talking V, which is a surrealistic demon film, I guess you would say. We have
Intriguing.
flying coffins and stuff like that.
Sounds like a fabulous way to travel.
Well, you've got the built-in seating, and
Yeah.
you've got a pillow. But yeah, that is pretty much all for me today, and I will talk to you guys later.
Bye.